welcome, Busy Living Sober. It's episode 484. Happy Wednesday. It's Wacky Wednesday. It is October 2nd, 2024. How is everybody today? If you're here for the first time, welcome. And if you're back, so happy to have you back. Oh my gosh, crazy, crazy times going on. I feel like you turn on, well, actually just walk around with your cell phone. If you have alerts set on and your phone is going beep, 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 beep. How do we ever relax? How do we ever get to that place? It's like zen and just let go in a place of like, oh my gosh, God, please, 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 just let us have peace. Let us have some serenity. It's so much. It's so much. And so I'm getting ready to go. I'm going away tomorrow. I'm heading to Vermont. It's my birthday weekend, and it's foliage is supposed to be peak. All the flowers, and I mean all the flowers, all the leaves on the trees are going to be all my favorite colors. It's going to be beautiful, and I'm going to go visit my daughter at college, at her law school. And wow, 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 wow. Acceptance. Isn't it crazy when our kids grow up? We expect them to be a certain way, right? We're like, we taught you this, we taught you that. You're going to walk out of this house, you're going to be exactly what I wanted you to be. Not. No. No, 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 no. Kids leave the house and then they go and they become them. And my daughter is becoming her or they. That's what she describes herself as, they, them. Yes, queer. That's what my daughter is, queer. Accepting that and knowing I can't change it. Acceptance, acceptance, acceptance. And I talk about acceptance all the time because I have a born forgetter. I forget that I have to accept things. Forget that I have to accept everybody for who they are and what they are and just take them for that and face value. You know, when I was drinking, it's so crazy because I think back to it all the time and how I've changed in the 18 years, but how so many things haven't changed. And my humanness has not changed. My some of my character defects are still here. I am constantly trying to work on what's going on with me and the world around me and being peaceful and knowing that there is a God and it's not me. And that takes courage. It takes strength. It takes a lot of work talking to other people and actually communicating with my husband because he's also sober. So, I have to accept that everything is exactly the way it's supposed to be. And when I was drinking, what I was going to say is when I was drinking, everything was black and white, right? There was no color. It was like, this is good and this is bad. This is right. This is wrong. And because we live in a world that's ever changing, we can all see that not everything's so simple to describe as good or bad or right and wrong, especially with people we love, right? Because if we love somebody, by the way, I'm in my new studio. I love it. I hope you guys love it. Let me know. Send me comments. Oh, by the way, fan mail on Buzzsprout. If you want to send me a text on Buzzsprout, I can't respond, but send me the text. I got a great fan mail yesterday from somebody, and I'm not going to name names because she didn't give me the approval to tell her name, but she just was like, I love your episodes. I've been watching 4 in a row, and I really wanted to say thank you, and she has so much to tell me. If you have something to tell me and you want me to respond to you, email it to me at elizabeth@elizabethchance.com. It's in the description. You can find it. Go to my website. Go to busylivingsober.com. It's got my email address on there all over the place. Reach out to me that way. If you send me the fan mail, I love it. It's awesome, but I can't respond to you. Just wanted to let you know that. But anyway, back to the black and white thinking. So now when we have kids and we're living in this world where everything's so changing and things don't always happen the way we want them to happen. And people don't always treat us the way we want to be treated. And what do? I mean, today I had one of those big days. I was like really full of fear about this upcoming trip and how I'm going to behave because of other relationships with other of my children. I say something, they hold it to me like I spoke something really badly and they carry it around. And They dislike me for whatever my comment was years ago. They hold on to it. They carry it in their pocket and their backpack, and that's all they can think about. There is no forgiveness. It's like, you said this and we're not letting you live that down. You said this and you're going to be punished for the rest of your life. And I don't want to be punished anymore for being a human being that maybe sometimes doesn't think before speaking. Can anybody agree with me with that one? Do you ever like say something and you're like, oh, I can't believe I just said that. Did anybody hear me? And you get this sense of like, I wish I could go rewind. I wish I couldn't have said that. But we're human. And at least for me, I don't always think before I speak, even though I haven't had a drink in a long time. Now, having that excuse was kind of nice to say, oh, I was just drunk. Just don't mind me. I was just drunk. But today I can't say that. Today I have to be, I guess I have to take my punishments and just accept it. And if the other person doesn't talk to me for whatever reason, I have to be okay with that. Because I can't have resentments and I can't hold on to the stuff of other people's anymore. I just can't. And accepting that my children are adults was a big one to get to. It's like it feels like they literally go from you driving them everywhere, them picking up toys and having Legos all over your house, to them going off and they're adults and they don't care about your opinion and they do them and we do us. As Henry likes to say, you do you, boo boo. And that is how it seems like it has gotten to in my life. It's like, okay, I went from being a mom who was totally hands-on to a mom that has complete hands-off and they don't want anything from me. And I have to accept that. So prior to going on this vacation with my daughter, I have to have my, my child. I don't want to call her a daughter because she wants to be referred to as they, them. And so that's a whole nother thing, right? It's like how do you get these pronouns right? That's a whole new thing that we have to do. Not easy, not easy, not easy for somebody who's been doing something for almost 56 years. And now I have to change my vocabulary and we have to change the way we view things and we have to be politically correct. I'm the worst politically correct person, I think, in the world. I think I just am. And I, for better or for worse, I have the way that I am. Take it or leave it. And I say to my daughter sometimes, I'm like, well, I'm your mother. And that's the last thing I wanted to hear from my mom. And I'm giving it now to my daughter. Do you guys relate to this? It's just like, I feel like I live my life when I'm around my kids, not around other adults, people that not family, but when you're with when you're with your family, it's like you're navigating, like there could be bombs, like anywhere you go, you gotta like just go to this. I gotta bang left. I gotta bang right. I gotta close my mouth. I gotta open my mouth. I gotta say this. I gotta smile. I gotta act like I'm happy, even though I'm not. And I gotta watch everything I say. Everything I say. And it gets so frustrating. And somebody said to me, are you gonna drink over this? And I thought to myself, no, I'm not going to drink over it. I'm not going to drink over it. I'm going to use my tools. I had a conversation today and it was very honest on both sides. And we set boundaries on both sides. And when you don't have expectations, which I think in the end are born resentments, if I don't have any expectations of how I think it's going to be either positive or negative, and I just go, that's like living in the day, right? If we live in God's grace, we know that we're just living in today. Like I can only pray for today. I can have prayers for tomorrow and for other people in tomorrow, but I really can only have everything for today. My gratitude, my attitude is in the moment. I can't plan for my attitude and my gratitude to be in the future. I can plan to use restraint of tongue and pen. I can plan on thinking before I speak. Now I know myself well enough, and I told my child this, that I could screw up. I could screw up. I tend to sometimes screw up. I tend to put my foot in my mouth. And why people hold on to what I say for so long and carry it around. And I don't want to say like it's a badge of honor, but they carry it around as a reason not to want to get along, right? We say something, we act a certain way, we might make a gesture, and that's us now, that we go in that description. That's who we are. If you make a bad face, they'll be like, she's the frowny face mother-in-law, or she's the mean mother-in-law because she said this 5 years ago under her breath, or when she wasn't even thinking, but I'm going to use that against her for the rest of my days. So crazy. It's just so crazy. And I know that I have to accept that everything is the way it's supposed to be, even though it's really uncomfortable. Life is uncomfortable at times. It totally is. Relationships are hard. Family is hard. And I feel like it's harder now than it was before. And I don't even know why that is, but I feel like it is. It's kind of like, why is it so much more than it used to be? And I'm reading this book about actually Marjorie Merriweather Post, who was actually happened to be one of my best friend's grandmothers and another good friend of mine's grandmother. It was one of my friend's great grandmother and my other friend's grandmother. And I'd never read her book before. And I'm reading it right now. And it's talking about her father, C.W. Post, and how he had stomach issues. And that's how they all came about, like developing post cereal. But she spoke about in there, the writer wrote about how the times back then, this is in the late 1800s and early 1900s, and how people had a lot of anxiety back then. Does this ring true to you? Here we are in 2024. Everybody has anxiety. And I'm thinking, wait, in 1890, they had anxiety too? In 1890, people were still scared? Yes, they were. It's not just us. Human beings through generation and generation have been scared and frightened because, let's face it, none of us like change. Change is so hard for all of us walking on this planet. I remember getting sober. I was so scared about this big change because it's momentous, right? Like when you quit drinking, if you're out there and you can understand, or you're trying to get sober. If you're out there trying to get sober, by the way, I'm cheering you on. Come on. You got this, one day at a time. Come on, remember, 1 hour at a time, 1 minute at a time. But I remember when I said, I'm going to get sober, and they said, you can't change anything, but you have to change everything. And you're like, wait a minute, what? And they said, yeah, you have to change everything in terms of your drinking, but you can't change anything big. Okay, so you're like, what does that mean? So I wasn't married, so I didn't have to and I had kids already, so they weren't going anywhere. My duties as a mother didn't change because I stopped drinking. In fact, I think I became a better mother for sure. But my responsibilities as a mother changed because it wasn't like I had that excuse, oh, I'm hungover, I'm too tired to do this. No, I was awake. I was able to participate. My kids were young, right? They were 10, 8, and 6 when I got sober. So they had lots of stuff going on in their life. They had busy lives, fall festivals, pumpkin patches, back to school night, all these things that are going on right now for all these moms out there in the world and dads. You guys are all going through this right now. And you're like, how do I do this without drinking? It feels totally uncomfortable. This is a big change. And I want to say these couple things to you guys that I think back that I used for myself, which was I'd never been sober before. I had never been a sober mom to a 10-year-old, an 8-year-old, or a 6-year-old. So I had to treat myself with some kindness. I was trying new things for the first time, right? I had to show up and have my feelings. I went to a lot of meetings back then, maybe 2 times a day if I had to. And I called my sponsor every day. And I was immersed in the program because those first, that first year, you have a lot of firsts that you've never done before. First time, your brain cells are coming back. And I don't have that thing that I used to use to hide these feelings. So all these feelings that came up were so big, so big. And today, I have to say, 18 years later, the feelings are still big, right? They're really big feelings that I have. And they're sometimes they're debilitating, right? They're sometimes become overwhelming, and I can't breathe sometimes because I get so frightened, because I don't want to screw up, and I don't want to say the wrong thing, and I don't want to put my foot in my mouth, and I don't want to have estranged relationships with my adult children. It's so painful and so hard to have estranged relationships. And I think, there's a reason maybe that there's no book that came with being a mom. There was no thing that you had, do this and everything's going to be amazing. Do that and everything's going to be like shit. There's none of those books are there. And it's just like navigating the whole thing. It's again like being in a minefield. You're like, where do I go? Do I got to dunk? Do I have to go under a bridge right here? Do I have to go over a bridge? Do I have to go underneath something? What do I have to do to ensure that I'm being the best me that I can be? And I wish that people, just because we're parents, maybe that we don't take our words as everything like the word of the Lord. The only person that's perfect that I know is God. And I think we're all human, just trying to have a human experience and try to do the best we can do. I've never been a parent to an adult child. I've never been a parent to somebody who's they, them. I've never done this before. They didn't even have they, them when I was young. They didn't even have, the word queer was there, but it didn't describe a race of people, but now it does, right? It describes how people are. They're queer. And I just have to respect them. And I understand respecting them. But I understand that I have my beliefs too. And so where does that become okay? Like, where does this all meld and get married? Like us people, like myself, who's conservative, I'm Christian, I go to church, I believe in God, I believe in all these things that are said in the Bible. And I love my child. I love her. Do I understand? No, I don't. It's okay. And she doesn't understand me, I don't think. I think she wants to judge me because I believe a certain way. And I think she loves me, but it's difficult, right? It's really difficult. And when we get frustrated and filled with fear and anxiety, which I've been feeling, I have to have the feelings. I talk to people. I have a lot of people in my network that I can reach out to and say, hey, this is what's going on. Can you give me some pointers? And they'll give me some pointers. Because I think navigating life by yourself is so lonely. As you guys know, I'm doing this alpha class, and last night was all about faith on Monday night. I'm doing this on Tuesday. You guys got me. This go out at 6 a.m. So I don't do this at 4 o'clock in the morning. So I do it the day before. So it is Tuesday. And yesterday I did the alpha class. And when I was there, we talked about faith and having faith and what that means and having faith. And I think we have like all this faith that, at least when we're raising kids, that if I do this and this and this, you're gonna grow up and you're not gonna have a pacifier in your mouth when you graduate from high school, and you're not gonna be wearing a diaper when you graduate from high school. We have like faith that that's all gonna happen if you're healthy. And for the people that have children that aren't healthy, I send love and tons of hugs. And if I put my foot in my mouth there, I'm very sorry. But I think, we try to do our best, and we feel like we have faith that if we do our best, everything's going to work out okay. And everything doesn't always work out okay. And okay, that's got different definitions now too. Like, it has to be you being okay, one person being okay with what's going around them. And this is challenging times. I have to tell you, at least for me as a parent, it is challenging. It's like my oldest child stopped talking to me, and I haven't talked to him in like 2 years. My daughter is now, them. I messed up again. Hadley, I'm just going to call her Hadley. She does her, and I try my best to do me. And it's really hard. And I have to say, I'm so grateful to be sober. And I'm so grateful to be sober in the 12 steps, through the 12 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous, because this book, and I'm going to just pull it up because it's kind of around a lot recently. It's called Alcoholics Anonymous. Can you read it? It's probably upside down. But in this book, there's so many gems and so many tools and so many tricks that, help us manage through life without drinking. And one of them is the acceptance prayer, which I have read many times on this podcast through the years. But I just feel like today it feels like a day that I'm going to read it to you guys, because I found it helpful, and maybe you'll find it helpful too. I always like to share. So it's on page 417 of the fourth edition of this book. There's a fifth edition out now. But on page 417, it says, and acceptance is the answer to all of my problems today. When I am disturbed, it is because I find some person, place, thing, or situation, some fact of my life unacceptable to me. And I can find no serenity until I accept that person, place, thing, or situation as being exactly the way it is supposed to be at this moment. Nothing, absolutely nothing, happens in God's world by mistake. Until I could accept my alcoholism, I could not stay sober. Unless I accept life completely on life's terms, I cannot be happy. I need to concentrate not so much on what needs to be changed in the world as on what needs to be changed in me and in my attitudes. Is that so brilliant? I got to accept everything in God's world as exactly the way it's supposed to be, as much as I might not like it. See, like God knows every hair on our head. He knows everything that's going on with us, even with our kids. Or God has our kids. And I have to accept it all, everything, as being exactly the way it's supposed to be, for better or for worse. If I want to be happy, if Elizabeth Chance wants to be happy, I have to accept. I have to accept that my eldest son doesn't speak to me. I have to accept that my daughter uses pronouns. I have to accept that everything in my life is exactly the way it's supposed to be today, the way it is. Now, if you're out there and you're like, well, I don't like what I have right here that I'm looking at, I don't want to accept the way the things are. What do you have control over? What do you have control over? You. That's it. I don't have control over anybody else, as I just identified with all of these people. I just said, do not want to have anything to do with me. So what can I accept? I have to accept that. I have to accept that they don't like me. And you know what the craziest thing is? Because I've been going to church so much recently, and just because I've been doing the things I've been doing recently, the tools I've been putting in my toolbox and my tool belt have been all about forgiveness. I can forgive everything. Am I going to forget? No. But I can forgive. Because I've screwed up so many times in my life. I mean, it's like crazy how many times I've screwed up. I can't even tell you how many times I've screwed up and how many times I've had to go back and ask for amends. And some people don't want to accept my amends, and that's okay. That's on them. That's okay. It's okay. It's okay. But I can forgive them. I don't have to carry around hatred. Just because you might not like me doesn't mean that I don't have to I don't have to not like you. I can like you and love you. And I might not want to eat dinner with you, but I might love you from afar. Every person that's come into my life, for better or for worse, even like people that it's been really hard to have relationships with, in the end, I don't regret any of it. It's all about the ride, right? It's all about the bumps and the lumps you get on this journey. It's what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, right? So as I was saying, if you can't accept something in your life, let's say it's something you can't control, that you can't control, which is your kids, your spouse, the mailman, the weatherman, politicians. Who can you control? You. So if you're in a relationship with alcohol and you don't want to accept it anymore, what are you going to do? How do you come to that place of courage and go, you know what? It's Mike Tyson. Every time I get in the ring with this spirit, it's a spirit, by the way. Alcohol is a spirit. That's why they called it the wine and spirit store. Even though wine's a spirit as well. It's kind of crazy. But anyway, not to digress, which I do all the time, as you guys know, if you listen to me all the time. But that alcohol, if it's got you, it's got you. It's got a grasp on you. I remember when it had a grasp on me. I had no idea how much I was in such a personal prison when I was drinking until I got sober. I was like, oh my God. I thought about was like, where am I going to get some more? Do I have enough? And I was missing all the beautiful things in life because I was so focused on, is there enough? Is there enough? Do I have enough? I missed a lot. And I still don't forget that either. I'm constantly trying to grow. And if you're out there and you're like, I want to quit, well, don't do it on your own. Call a doctor, even if you have to go to telehealth and maybe get on the screen with a doctor you don't even know, but tell them what you've been doing. Be honest with somebody, because if you detox and go off alcohol by yourself, you can have a seizure and you can die. So you want to have medical help prior to doing anything. Call a therapist, go to your church, talk to your rabbi, talk to your yoga teacher. I don't know, whoever it may be for you. For me, I go and I talk to my minister, I talk to my friends. I've got a lot of people in my pool that I call, and so many people think that reaching for help is like a sign of weakness. You're weak if you ask for help. You don't want to ask for help because it shows a sign of weakness. Is that because when we were little, our parents were like, if we were walking in the beginning, we started to walk and we fall over all the time, and we get back up and fall over all the time, and we get back up. And our parents would be like, come on, you don't need my help. You got this. Well, I think it's adults. We need help. We need help navigating this one. This world we're living in right now is crazy. Off the charts crazy, isn't it? So what do? You ask for help. Somebody, give me a hand. Are you sober? Go to a meeting. Google AA. I can tell you this, in-person AA meetings, there is something that happens in an in-person meeting. It's like the chemistry. It's like God is in the room, like the power, like you get to hear others in a non-judgmental way. And some of them had the same experiences as you have. And you're like, how did that person have the same story as I did? Because we're humans and a lot of us are similar. And somebody will have a story you cannot relate to whatsoever. And you just keep going, oh my gosh, but you're here, you're trying to get sober. That's amazing. Like, you get to do service. It's so crazy. One of the main things in AA is these 12 steps. And one of the steps is service. You know, you can get into service. You can help another alcoholic. And that happens at step 12. And that's the last step. But I think you can do service the entire time. And I was taught that by my first sponsor over 18 years ago now. And she said to me, just showing up at a meeting is service. That's service. Holding the door open at the 7-Eleven or the Wawa is service. Saying hello to someone is service. Staying in the light during the day. You know what I mean? Stay in the light instead of going to the darkness. I mean, all this, as I mentioned in the beginning, you know, our phones going ding, 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 and all the politics that are going on and all the crazy wars that are going on. And by the way, I send prayers to people all over the world that are involved in any of these wars. I just say, God, please watch over all these people. But don't let your beliefs get you in trouble. Find the light, find the joy, find the happiness in each day by accepting things the way they are. Because life is really short, you guys. It's really short. And while you're here, you deserve to enjoy it just as much as the other guy or the other girl. Just know that. Life is a journey and it's full of like so many great things. And this month, now if you're out there and you're listening to me and you're like, wait a minute, I kind of like this girl. I kind of like what she's saying. Go to my website and sign up for my newsletter. Go to busylivingsober.com and it'll be prompted right there. Sign up and you'll get my newsletter into your inbox every Friday morning at 10 a.m. You will also get all my podcasts right into your inbox. Right into your inbox. You don't even have to go anywhere. Just be in your house and there you go. It's going to come in your inbox. And all you have to do is press play. Also, it's Sober October. And Joe Rogan started this years ago. I just read this. Somebody actually sent it to me in a DM on my Instagram and direct message. And they said it's Sober October. And Joe Rogan said, like, he's not doing any drugs, no weed, no nothing. He's just being completely 100% sober for the month. And he's been doing this for a while. So if you're out there and you're like, well, I don't know if I want to do this for the rest of my life. I don't know if I want to be sober for the rest of my life. It might be too much. Try it for a month, 31 days. I'm doing a lot of things for 31 days. I'm walking every day, at least a mile. Today I did 5. I can't believe it. It was so hot here, though, in South Florida. But anyway, I walked, and I'm doing the rosary every day. And even if you're not Catholic, you can do the rosary. It's amazing. It's an amazing 18 to 25 minute. They have it on the Halo app, my favorite thing. And they're doing a challenge this month starting October 1st. So meaning today, which is Tuesday. So tomorrow you could be one day behind and maybe go into November 1st and do it. So you get your 31 days. But there's so many amazing things going on this month. Now, if you have something that you're doing for this month, let me know. I'd love to share it with my listeners. Again, you can send me fan mail on Buzzsprout, and I can't reply. Remember that. I will reply if you email me, Elizabeth@elizabethchance.com. And I hope you enjoyed today's show. If you're watching me on YouTube, subscribe. Please subscribe. Follow me. I'm on all social media, Busy Living Sober. And I hope you enjoyed today's show. I hope you took something away from it. Again, I'm going to Vermont on Thursday. I will be back on Monday. I'll be recording on Tuesday. I've got a great guest, by the way, on Monday. ESPN reporter. You might want to tune in. She's pretty awesome. She just wrote a book. So that's dropping on Monday, and I'll be back on Tuesday, recording Tuesday, and you'll get my report of how the whole weekend went and see how many times I put my foot in my mouth. Let's hope I leave this this vacation, this birthday celebration, with still a relationship with my daughter, and I hope I don't screw it up. God, you guys send me good vibes, please, please, please. And again, thanks for listening, and until next time, everybody, keep getting busy, living sober.